Hey, this is Tommy Park from City Church Miami, and I just want to have a conversation with you about some really exciting updates that have been going on with City Church Miami. For those of you that have been supporting, praying, and a part of what God has been doing through City Church Miami, we are a new church that has been leading and guiding people to know who Jesus Christ is in the city of Miami. We just started holding public services Easter Sunday of this year. April 1st, 2018 was our first public service to be able to invite people into the community to know what we've been doing and to know that we are a church that is for Miami. When we started this church, even before we started holding services, we as a leadership team kept praying this one prayer. We were praying that God, would you do a new work in the city, and however you call us to be a part of it, we'll do it because you are the one that is in charge of this process. And so as we've been reaching and getting to know our neighbors in the city, and as we've been partnering with organizations to reach people in the city, a really unique thing happened. When we started this journey, we were praying and we were asking God to open up new doors and new opportunities for us to be able to serve more people in the city. And so through that heart, we wanted to be in the best environments possible. So we were being trained by great networks and great people. And so one of our partner networks, the City to City Network, we became really good friends with an incredible church in the city called Crossbridge Brickell. They've been an incredible blessing to our church. We actually, when we were doing our vision tour back in 2017 of how we were going to meet, gather, and reach the city, Crossbridge Brickell was one of the first churches that welcomed us into their church. They welcomed our church in to pray over our church and to pray for our future endeavor. But little did we know that a year later, a really interesting conversation was going to come. So we had just started services at Easter, and then about a month later, all of a sudden I get a phone call from my friends over at Crossbridge, and they tell me that we've been praying about the next season of our church, and we have a really crazy idea. And we want to talk to you about the idea of what could it look like if two churches came together as one family for Miami. And I'm just going to be honest with you. When that idea came to me at first, my first reaction was, no, because we're so new at this. We just started, we're just going to keep going in different directions, but we're going to meet in the middle wherever we can and partner however we can. But a month later, the leadership team of Crossbridge Brickell came back and said, we really feel it impressed on our hearts that we want to talk with you about the idea of what it could look like for our two churches to come together and for you to become our pastor. And so that conversation, with their urgency and with their heart and with their burden to talk about this, we talked more about it. At first, I was just thinking, God, we're going to keep doing what we're doing. They're going to keep doing what they're doing. But if you are going to guide this process together, it's going to be in your time and your will. And so we started talking in June, and it was as simple as just, let's pray about this. Let's go through the details. Let's just dream up this idea, even if we're even going to consider it. But we prayed about it, but we still didn't feel it was the right direction yet. And so we met again in July and we talked more and more. But as we kept going through this process, there were so many things that were just guiding us in the same direction, because our churches have the same vision and the same passion and desires, not just for the city now, but for the city for the long haul. And so as we were praying about this, one of the first things I did as I was considering this idea is I talked to my sending pastor, Pastor Guy. I talked to him about this idea, and I told him what's going on and the possibility of this new idea and what it could look like if two churches came together. And he shared with me just the beautiful principle of what he's been able to do over the past 27 years of ministry with our sending church. He said, don't get caught up on what you thought it's supposed to look like. See what God is doing, because if God is bringing a new work, maybe this is what God is calling you to do, to step into this new work that you've been praying for in Miami. And so we took that advice. We brought in counselors and people that we trust to pray through this process. And it's been an incredible journey to talk and to pray about the idea of what it could look like of not just two younger church plants in the city doing ministry separately, but what could it look like if two church plants came together for Miami. And so all of our friends and supporters, I want to share with you the really exciting news that two churches are going to become one family for Miami. Moving forward, we're going to be known as Crossbridge Brickell, and I'm going to be serving as pastor. I want to share this with you because you have been intricate, instrumental, and such an encouragement in everything that we've done up until this point. But I want to share with you that God has brought us to this point because He knows what He's calling us to do next. It's going to be a beautiful opportunity for us to be able to reach more people in the city with the same like-minded vision and a same purpose. Because at City Church Miami, our vision was to be a church in the city for Miami. And our heart was to love God, love others, and love the world by making disciples from the city for the cities of the world. And Crossbridge Brickell is a beautiful church that is cross-focused, community-driven. They are city positive, and they want to be a part of a catalytic movement of a family of churches seeking the renewal of the cities for the glory of Jesus Christ. There are so many things that we've already done together. Our mission partners are the same. So why not take two churches and become one family for Miami? And so that's what I want to share with you, that God is doing a new work in the city by us becoming Crossbridge Brickell, and I'll be serving as their pastor. It is a beautiful journey of what it can look like when churches come together for the sake of unity, like Jesus Christ prayed to the Father. John 17 reminds us that Jesus prayed for the unity of his church to come together so that when we are one, that people will know that Jesus Christ and the Father are one. It's been a beautiful journey. It's been a wonderful process, and I'm so glad to share this with you because it is beautiful when brothers and sisters can come together for the work of the gospel of Jesus Christ. And so I want to encourage you. The beautiful thing about what we're doing is that the time doesn't change. We're still meeting Sunday nights at 5 o'clock. The only thing that's changing is the location. So we're going to be meeting Sunday nights at 5 o'clock at 1770 Brickell Avenue. You're invited. Everyone in the greater downtown area, you're invited. Friends, family, prayer supporters, you're invited. When you're in town, come to see what God is doing in Miami at Crossbridge Brickell. I want to thank you for your support of City Church Miami, but I want to ask you to continue to pray for the work of Crossbridge Brickell. Pray for the work of us sharing the gospel, living out the work of Jesus, and inviting people into community to know that our Father has a plan for all of creation. And thank you for your continued support. Thank you for your prayers, and we look forward to sharing more stories and more updates of what God is doing in the city of Miami, because two churches are becoming one family for Miami.